Hi, my name is Henry, and a lot of mythology, even for people who haven't looked into myth stories themselves, are well known for having deities who are, well, to put it lightly, f***ing stupid heads. YouTube censors, if you're wondering what it was I said, it was very unpleasant folk to be around. That conception isn't totally off, but it's not like Greek myths are the only mythological stories that include gods who happen to be f***ing stupid heads. If you're into mythology like myself, you're probably already aware of the hijinks gods get into, but if you aren't, boy, you're in for a treat. And a lot of murder. And incest. There is so much incest. I do still want to participate in old-fashioned Greek god bashing by sharing some of my personal favorite infamous acts by gods and stories. Uranus was the third god to have ever emerged, the first being Chaos, who was the void state preceding the creation of literally anything ever, and second being Gaia, my personal favorite Greek god, the Earth goddess. Because of this, Uranus was quite the trendsetter for Greek gods later down the line, most notably in the shitty parenting department. Uranus had a lot of kids with Gaia, who was also his mom. Yeah, what did I tell you about the incest? But he was also a freak who was weirdly paranoid about the possibility of his children overthrowing him. And since healthy parenting hadn't been invented yet, he went for the next best thing, which is imprisoning them in the underworld. Or rather Tartarus, the part of the realm of Hades that's reserved for the wicked and damned. Because I guess placing them in literally any slightly okayer part of the underworld was too much. Eventually he gets his just desserts, as not too long later, Gaia, not too jazzed about her children being in hell and whatnot, frees one of their children, Cronus, and fashions him a sickle, which he then uses to ensure that Uranus will never have children again, which isn't undeserved or anything, but Jesus, dude. In case you're wondering what happened to him after that, it's not totally clear. He either died or just, moved to Italy, I guess. The fear of being overthrown by one's childs would pass over to Cronus, except in this case he had some prophecies to go off of. Unlike his pussy dad though, Cronus cut out the middleman and just straight up ate his kids whole. Again, just desserts were given, as one of his children was none other than Zeus, who managed to escape by getting switched out with a rock, and Cronus didn't notice because he ate his children so often it came as naturally as breathing at that point. One training session with Gaia later, Zeus returns to get his siblings back, which he successfully does, and also castrates Cronus. Father's Day must be awkward in Olympus. And as any Greek mythology expert will tell you, after this Zeus proceeded to be the best, most kind god ever, and was also very loyal to his wife. What a happy ending. Medusa probably got one of the shortest ends of the stick in Greek myths, and by getting the short end of the stick, I mean whatever the euphemism for getting turned into a monster for being a victim of sexual assault and then getting decapitated for it is. After basically getting assaulted by Poseidon, Athena, goddess of battle strategy and wisdom, was upset by how this chick was unable to defend herself against the god of the literal sea, and turned her into the form that everybody's familiar with, snake hair and all. Athena, goddess of battle strategy and wisdom, also assisted Perseus in decapitating her later on. Just a real pleasant whole entire existence Medusa had. This isn't even the first time Athena, goddess of battle strategy and wisdom, did something like this, as there's of course Arachne, who was simply just better at weaving than Athena and was punished by being turned into the first ever spider. A more blatant douche comes in the form of Antaeus, son of Poseidon, who simply just hanged around a road and murdered people who agreed to wrestle with him. No, really, that was his whole deal. His power came from being indestructible as long as his tootsies stayed planted on the ground, but during the labors of Heracles simply just picked him up and killed him that way. Another pretty blatant asshat was Tantalus, a son of Zeus who's most well known for his eternal fate. You see, one day Tantalus invited the gods to a summertime grilling, when suddenly he thought to himself, "Hey, you wanna know what would be really funny? If I killed my son and secretly fed him to the gods. God, that'd be so epic." So barbecue his son he did, but the gods totally noticed. Well, except for Demeter, who ate the kid's shoulder. Zeus then sent him to Tartarus, where he was given that one well-known punishment that I'm too lazy to describe. Research it yourself, idiot. The gods then resurrected the barbecued boy and even gave him a new fancy ivory shoulder. What a happy ending. Except Zeus hurls the kid off of Olympus later because Zeus is a dick. Hey, speaking of Zeus being a dick... Immediately after coming to power, Zeus showed the type of shit he was gonna be on as the new main god. After marrying his first wife Metis, a titan, he learned he wasn't immune to the generational trend of children overthrowing their dads. Unlike Uranus and Cronus, Zeus had a better plan to prevent this from happening. The plan being, turn his wife into a fly and eat her, because castration is so 8th century BC. This is the main reason why Athena was birthed out of Zeus's head, as his wife was pregnant when he consumed her. He didn't improve on husbanding after Metis either. It's well known to even those who aren't at all knowledgeable about Greek mythology just how much Zeus enjoyed being with women who were very much not his wife. Cheating wasn't funky enough for him though, so he constantly used his powers to shapeshift and got around that way. He abducted Europa as a white bull and, depending on the version, either seduced or assaulted her, which in these stories is unfortunately interchangeable. He did almost the same thing to Leda as a swan. He wouldn't leave Lo, Princess of Argos, alone, and instead of just moving along, he turned into a cloud to get with her. To get with Danae, he turned into a shower of gold, which is disappointingly less gross than it sounds. He pretended to be Hades at one point to get with Persephone, a satyr to get with Antiope, a shepherd to get with Melpsene, and sometimes he just pretend to be random human dudes to get with their wives. The guy was Mr. Worldwide and he barely ever faced any punishment for it. That always fell onto the women who he seduced. On its own, this may or may not suggest to you the concept that Zeus wasn't a stand-up guy. But there's more. Zeus gave Pandora a box. Kidding you f***ing Nimrods, it was a jar, and told her, hey, the contents of this box are super interesting and cool, but like, don't ever open it. So of course she did, and that's a big reason why things on Earth suck so much. You might put that blame on Pandora, but it was clearly on Zeus. A real, when I tell you not to think about elephants, what do you think about moment here. But by far my favorite awful act, purely because of how blatant it is in showing what a menace Zeus is when one day he just decided he was over the whole humanity thing, and asked Poseidon to kill everybody with a huge flood. Thanks, Zeus. Of course we're still here though, and that's because Deucalion and his wife Pyra survived, and after offering sacrifice were told to toss stones over their shoulders to repopulate the earth. Well, this was a fun little short but carefully crafted romp, but we're not done yet. There's still the likes of Norse, Egyptian, and perhaps some Japanese mythology that have some solid examples of why it's so common for people to drop to their knees and forsake God upon undergoing great misfortune. So we're gonna talk about those in other videos. Because, oh my god, it took me like 4 months to make this video and it will probably not break 10 minutes. I need to take a long walk on a beach or like climb onto my roof and watch the sunset. Or maybe just go into my backyard and touch grass, man. I don't know, I need a breather. And as always, my name is Henry. And if this video doesn't get 1 million views, I'm going to delve into the depths of the ocean where they will understand me.